Here in Jaffa, a conference is underway to talk about the future of capitalism. It's drawn economists and business people from around the world. Joining me now here in the studio is Andrew Bernstein. He's a writer and a professor, teaches at CUNY and at Pace University. Thanks for joining us, Professor Bernstein.
Oh, it's good to be here. Thank you.
I know your specialty is Ayn Rand,
yes,
and the objectivist movement. How popular is that here in Israel?
Well, I think it's growing in popularity. There's an objectivist movement here. There's essay contests on Ayn Rand's novel *The Fountainhead* in Israel. But Israel also was founded largely on socialist principles, and so the individual rights orientation of Ayn Rand it's hard to sell that in Israel, but it is slowly growing in this country.
The influence of Ayn Rand in the GOP, in the Republican Party, how is that kind of playing out a little bit on this political season?
Well, it's really interesting because with somebody like Ted Cruz, for instance, who's running for the Republican nomination, Cruz is Cuban and very Catholic, but at the same time he's a big Ayn Rand fan and talks about objectivism a lot, and you see them side by side. I don't want to oversimplify, but it's almost as if his Ayn Rand influence and his objectivism influence, you see it in the economic issues, individual rights in the marketplace. But regarding social issues, abortion, gay rights, you see the Catholic influence. It's almost, there's almost a line there, on the two.
Is it having any play at all on the Democratic side? No,
unfortunately, the Democrats have been dominated by collectivism and socialism for probably 100 years now. They're kind of a watered down version of Marxism. I don't want to accuse them of being Marxists, full Marxists, because the communists murdered like 100 million innocent people. So but the Democrats are kind of watered down Marxists. They're just garden variety socialists. So Ayn Rand has little influence there. But in the Republican Party, there's a mixture of Christianity and objectivism.
Tell me a little bit about the conference here in Jaffa. Some of the people that you're meeting here. What's the atmosphere been like?
Well, it's great. There's been two conferences. One for the Israeli Freedom Movement, which is sponsored by my friend Boaz Arad, who's getting well known in Israel promoting objectivism, and I think you're going to have him on TV later today. And then today there's the Student for Liberty conference, which is the largest libertarian organization of students in the world. And so there's been a great variety of talks. I spoke yesterday on the heroes of capitalism. There's a number of talks given by economists on the superiority of the free market to government intervention and socialism. These two conferences, I think, have been excellent in promoting the ideas of individual rights and free markets and limited constitutional government, as opposed to socialism and any system where the government is dominant over the individual.
You're teaching in America. Ayn Rand, is she still popular among your students, the next generation?
With some, again, Ayn Rand's novels are very philosophical. The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, I think, literarily are the two greatest novels ever written, but they're philosophical. They're really the people who are interested in literature are the ones who will read them. And unfortunately, the American educational system is bad. I mean, it's what we hear in the media is accurate, and so a lot of my students, unfortunately, the college kids, but they don't read well enough to really get the Fountainhead and really understand the Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. Nevertheless, there's in any class there's a small group of good students who are very good readers and very intelligent, and yes, and then who are influenced by Ayn Rand. Yes.
And thank you so much for joining us, Professor Bernstein.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been fun.